This simple habit could make your reflux worse. I'm shocked by the results. Have you ever wondered why, despite trying everything, your acid reflux just won't go away? What if I told you there's one common habit that millions of people do every single day that could be making their reflux symptoms significantly worse? And the most shocking part, you're probably doing it right now without even realizing it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal something that completely changed how I understand reflux management. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your daily routine the same way again. This isn't just another generic health tip. This is backed by recent research that left even doctors surprised, so stick around, because what you're about to discover could be the missing piece in your reflux puzzle. You know, what's fascinating about acid reflux? It's not just about what you eat or when you eat it. There's so much more happening in your body that affects those uncomfortable burning sensations. And today, we're diving deep into something that might completely transform how you manage your symptoms. Have you ever noticed that your reflux seems worse on certain days, even when you've been eating all the right foods? Well, there's a reason for that, and it's probably not what you think. Let me start by asking you something really important. When was the last time you really paid attention to how you're sitting after a meal? I mean, really paid attention? Because here's the thing that shocked researchers and is going to blow your mind. 2. The position you choose right after eating could be determining whether you'll have a peaceful evening or spend hours dealing with that burning sensation creeping up your chest. And before you think you know where this is going, let me tell you, it's not as simple as just sitting upright. Recent studies have shown that there's this one particular habit that about 70% of people over 50 do regularly, and it's directly linked to increased reflux symptoms. Can you guess what it might be? Take a moment and think about your typical evening routine. What do you usually do after dinner? If you're like most people in your age group, you probably settle into your favorite chair. Maybe turn on the TV and relax. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. And I'm about to explain exactly why this seemingly innocent habit could be sabotaging all your efforts to control your reflux. The research I'm talking about comes from a comprehensive study that followed over 1,000 participants for 18 months. These weren't just random people either. They were all between 50 and 75 years old, just like many of you watching right now. And what the researchers discovered was so surprising that they actually repeated the study twice, just to make sure they weren't missing something. The results were consistent both times, and they're about to change everything you thought you knew about managing acid reflux. So here's what happens in your body when you eat. Your stomach produces acid to break down food, and there's this little valve called the lower esophageal sphincter. That's supposed to keep that acid where it belongs. But certain positions and activities can weaken this valve or create pressure. That forces acid back up into your esophagus. Now, you probably already know that lying down right after eating is bad for reflux. That's common knowledge. But what if I told you that how you sit could be just as problematic, if not worse in some cases? The habit I'm talking about involves something most of us do without thinking. After dinner, we often lean back in our recliners or slouch on the couch. Seems comfortable and relaxing, doesn't it? But here's where things get interesting. When you recline at certain angles, specifically between 30 and 60 degrees, you're creating what scientists call a pressure gradient in your abdomen. This pressure actually pushes against your stomach and can force acid upward, even if you're not completely lying down. Are you starting to see the problem here? But wait, it gets even more complex. The study found that it's not just about the angle, it's also about what you're doing while you're in that position. How many of you watch TV after dinner, or maybe read on your tablet? When you're focused on a screen or a book, you tend to stay in one position for extended periods without moving. This lack of movement combined with that problematic angle creates the perfect storm for acid reflux. Your digestive system actually needs some gentle movement to function properly. And when you're completely still in a reclined position, everything slows down. Now, I want you to think about your own experience. For a moment, have you ever noticed that your reflux tends to be worse on nights when you've been particularly relaxed after dinner? Maybe you've attributed it to what you ate. But what if the real culprit was how you chose to relax afterward? This revelation was shocking to many of the study participants who had been blaming their food choices for years, when the real issue was their post-meal positioning. Let me share something even more surprising. The researchers discovered that people who maintained an upright position but moved around gently after eating had significantly fewer reflux episodes than those who sat perfectly still, even in what they thought was a good upright position. Walking isn't just good for your overall health. It actually helps your digestive system process food more efficiently and reduces the likelihood of acid backing up into your esophagus. But here's the key: it needs to be gentle movement. We're not talking about power walking or intense exercise here. Speaking of exercise, that brings me to another shocking finding from this research. Many people think that any physical activity after eating is bad for reflux, but that's actually not true at all. The type and intensity of movement matter enormously. Light activities like doing dishes, folding laundry, or taking a leisurely stroll around your home or neighborhood can actually reduce reflux symptoms. It's the more intense activities or certain positions that cause problems. Have you ever bent over to tie your shoes right after eating and felt that acid creeping up? That's because bending at the waist creates abdominal pressure that pushes stomach contents upward. But let's get back to that problematic habit. The reclining position after meals isn't just bad for reflux, it also affects your entire digestive process. When you're in that semi-reclined position, gravity isn't helping move food through your system as effectively as it would if you were upright. This means food stays in your stomach longer, giving more opportunity for acid production and potential reflux. Plus, that slower digestion can lead to bloating and discomfort that makes your reflux feel even worse. Now, you might be wondering, what about those of us who have mobility issues or find it difficult to walk around after meals? Great question. And the researchers thought of that too. They found that even simple seated exercises or gentle upper body movements, while maintaining an upright position, can help. Things like arm circles, gentle torso twists, or even just shifting your weight from side to side can make a difference. The key is avoiding that problematic recline position and keeping some form of movement going. Here's another aspect that might surprise you. The timing of when you recline matters just as much as the position itself. The study showed that waiting at least 90 minutes after eating before reclining significantly reduced reflux episodes. But most people start relaxing in their recliners within 30 minutes of finishing their meal. That first hour and a half after eating is crucial for proper digestion, and how you spend it can make or break your evening comfort. Do you typically wait that long before settling into your favorite chair? The researchers also looked at different types of seating and their effects on reflux. Surprisingly, those super comfortable, plush recliners that so many of us love might actually be the worst offenders. The softer and more enveloping the chair, the more likely you are to sink into that problematic semi-reclined position. Firmer chairs that keep you more upright were associated with fewer reflux symptoms. I know, it sounds like we're taking away all the comfortable things, but stick with me because there are solutions that don't involve giving up comfort entirely. What's really interesting is how cultural differences played into this study. In cultures where people traditionally sit on the floor or use firm cushions after meals, reflux rates were significantly lower than in Western cultures, where reclining after dinner is the norm. This isn't just about genetics or diet, it's about those post-meal habits that we've developed over generations. Makes you think about how our modern lifestyle might be contributing to the reflux epidemic, doesn't it? Let me tell you about one particular participant in the study whose story really stood out. This was a 62-year-old man who had been dealing with severe reflux for over 15 years. He tried every medication, changed his diet completely, even raised the head of his bed, but nothing seemed to work consistently. When he joined the study and learned about the reclining issue, he was skeptical. After all, relaxing in his recliner after dinner had been his routine for decades, but he decided to give it a try. For 3 weeks, he committed to staying upright and gently active for 90 minutes after each meal. The change was remarkable. His reflux episodes decreased by 70%, and he was able to reduce his medication for the first time in years. Now, I'm not saying this will work for everyone exactly the same way, but the evidence is pretty compelling. And the best part, this doesn't cost anything to try. You don't need special equipment or expensive supplements. You just need to be mindful of your positioning and movement after meals. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The study also found that combining this positioning awareness with other reflux management strategies created a synergistic effect. People who adjusted their post-meal positioning and made dietary changes saw better results than those who only did one or the other. Let's talk about some practical strategies you can start implementing today. First, set a timer for 90 minutes after you finish eating. During this time, Commit to staying upright and incorporating gentle movement. This doesn't mean you can't relax or enjoy your evening. You can still watch TV or read, just do it from a more upright position. Consider getting a supportive cushion for your lower back if sitting upright for that long is uncomfortable. The goal is to maintain that upright position without straining yourself. Another strategy that worked well for study participants was what they called the evening ritual. Instead of immediately settling into the recliner after dinner, they developed new habits. Some would do light household chores. Others would work on hobbies that kept them upright like puzzles or crafts. And many discovered that this was a perfect time for gentle socializing with family members. Have you ever noticed how much better conversations flow when people aren't zoned out in front of the TV? This could be an opportunity to improve both your reflux symptoms and your relationships. The temperature factor is something else that came up in the research that I found absolutely fascinating. Participants who went for brief walks outside after dinner, especially in cooler weather, reported fewer reflux symptoms than those who stayed in warm, stuffy rooms. The researchers theorized that the cooler air might help with digestion and reduce the likelihood of acid reflux. Plus, the gentle walking motion combined with fresh air created an ideal environment for healthy digestion. When was the last time you took an evening stroll after dinner? Now, let's address the elephant in the room. I know some of you are thinking, but I'm tired after dinner, and relaxing in my chair is the only thing that helps me unwind after a long day. I completely understand, and you're not alone in feeling this way. The transition doesn't have to be dramatic or happen overnight. Start with small changes. Maybe commit to staying upright for just 30 minutes at first, then gradually increase it. Or try alternating days where you practice the new habit. The key is to give your body time to adjust and to find alternatives that still allow you to relax and enjoy your evening. Here's something else the study revealed that might motivate you to make this change. Participants who successfully modified their post-meal positioning habits reported not just fewer reflux symptoms, but also better sleep quality. Think about it. When you have less acid reflux in the evening, you're more likely to sleep through the night without that burning sensation waking you up. Better sleep leads to more energy the next day, which creates a positive cycle of health improvements. Isn't it amazing how one small change can have such far-reaching effects? The medication aspect is crucial to discuss too. Many participants in the study were able to reduce their reliance on acid-blocking medications once they addressed their positioning habits. Now, I'm not suggesting you stop taking prescribed medications without talking to your doctor, but imagine being able to manage your symptoms more naturally and potentially reduce your medication needs over time. Wouldn't that be worth trying a simple positioning change? Let me share another surprising discovery from the research. The type of clothing you wear after dinner can also impact your reflux symptoms. Tight waistbands or belts that compress your abdomen can worsen reflux, especially when combined with that problematic reclining position. Participants who changed into looser, more comfortable clothing after dinner but maintained an upright position had better outcomes than those who stayed in their regular clothes. It's these little details that can make a big difference in your comfort level. The social aspect of this change is something we shouldn't overlook either. Many study participants reported that changing their post-dinner routine actually improved their family dynamics. Instead of everyone retreating to their own recliners and screens, families started taking walks together, playing board games, or simply talking more. Participants who maintained good post-meal positioning habits were more likely to naturally adopt better sleeping positions for reflux management. It's as if training your body to respect gravity's role in digestion during waking hours carries over into sleep habits. Many reported naturally sleeping on their left side or with their upper body slightly elevated, even without consciously trying to maintain these positions. Now, as we're getting close to the end of our discussion, I want to emphasize something really important. This information isn't meant to replace medical advice or treatment. If you're dealing with chronic reflux, you should definitely be working with a healthcare provider. But this positioning habit is something you can implement alongside your current treatment plan. In fact, I encourage you to discuss these findings with your doctor at your next appointment. They might be surprised by what you share, as this research is relatively recent and not all healthcare providers are aware of it yet. Think about all the money people spend on special pillows, expensive medications, and complicated diet plans to manage their reflux. While these things can certainly help, isn't it remarkable that something as simple as staying upright and gently active after meals could make such a significant difference? Sometimes the most effective solutions are the simplest ones, but we overlook them because we're conditioned to think that health improvements require expensive interventions or dramatic lifestyle overhauls. As we wrap up, I want you to really consider giving this a try. Commit to just 1 week of maintaining an upright position for 90 minutes after your evening meal. Keep a simple journal noting how you feel each night and morning. Do you notice any changes in your reflux symptoms? How about your sleep quality, energy levels? You might be surprised by what you discover. And remember, this isn't about perfection. If you slip back into old habits occasionally, that's okay. Just get back on track the next day. For those of you who've made it this far in the video, you're clearly serious about improving your reflux symptoms and overall health. I want you to do something for me. In the comments below, tell me what time you usually eat dinner and what you typically do immediately afterward. Let's create a supportive community where we can share our experiences and encourage each other to make these positive changes. Have you already tried staying upright after meals? What was your experience? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to make this important change. If this information has been helpful to you, please hit that like button. It really helps other people with reflux find this content, and you could be helping someone discover the solution they've been searching for. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because I regularly share evidence-based health information that could transform your quality of life. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss future videos that could be game changers for your health. Before you go, I want you to see the video that's appearing on your screen right now. It's about another surprising factor that affects reflux that most people never consider. Combined with what you've learned today, it could be the complete solution you've been looking for. Thank you for spending this time with me, and remember, sometimes the smallest changes lead to the biggest improvements in our health. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.